Hey friends, it's Elizabeth. So it is almost September, which is crazy to me. Summer is almost over and it's back to school time and planning time for many of us who are in business. And, with this back to school time, I sent my son back to his sweet little school. But I've just been thinking about, back to school and this planning time and what it means for those of you who are in the business of changing the conversation in your industry. You're on the thought leader journey, and why is it so hard for authors, speakers, thought leaders to have a sense of their overall strategic plan and to identify that strategic plan beyond your next immediate goal, whether that immediate goal is to launch a book, get picked, for that signature keynote, get some media attention. And it's tough, in so many areas of our life. Structure is given to us. So I was thinking about back to college, and when you're in college, even though you have the freedom to pick a major, that major comes with a lot of structure. There's certain core classes that you're going to take, and even though you might have some flexibility on when you take them, you're going to be taking those classes before you graduate. And everything you do in a university setting is pointing towards a singular goal of you graduating with a particular major. And so while there is some flexibility and freedom on electives you take, or that side interest in languages or music or something else, you know which path you're on. You have those guardrails and that structure and a goal that is defined for you. So out in the world of thought leadership and entrepreneurship, we don't have those same blueprints. And in so many ways, that's a good thing, because when you follow somebody else's plan, like I've talked about before, that's going to actually limit your impact, because someone else's plan is designed around their business model, message, audience, goals, stage as a thought leader. So, the solution, while oh so tempting, is not to follow someone else's plan, but instead to figure out the unique pathway that you're meant to follow based on what you're trying to do in the world. But how do we do that if there's not a reliable blueprint, and if your immediate goal to launch a book is not the same as your overall strategic plan? It's great to have those short-term goals, and we need those goals, but they're not the same as an overall strategic plan. So just wanted to go live for a few minutes today to say, hey, here are some filters that you can use to help you ensure that you're on the right pathway for you as a thought leader and heading in the right direction. In 3 minutes, we don't have time to come up with a custom plan for you, but these filters will absolutely help you in making both those day-to-day decisions as well as the long-term decisions, so that you can consistently grow your impact and income with your audience and with the business that's tied to your message and your work. So the first filter is business model. Goodness, business model helps us make so many decisions. So as an example, if your business is serving the B2B audience and you're thinking about trying to get media on the Today Show or a major outlet that kind of serves the B2C audience, well, your business model serves as that filter to say, maybe that's not the right investment of money in terms of, investing, in a particular strategy, or your time in terms of trying to get in front of an audience from a media perspective that's not aligned with your core business. Another example is around speaking. Say speaking is one of your many revenue streams, or maybe speaking is in service to your business. Well, then your strategy is going to reflect that you wouldn't want to be following the strategy that a keynote speaker whose entire income comes from being on major stages like the Brené Browns and the Mel Robbins of the world. Your strategy is going to be different because your business model is different. So number one, think about your business model, how your services tie into your message, and how that can serve as a filter for your decisions. The second filter is your stage as a thought leader. So when you're in the earlier stages with your message and audience, that's going to dictate a lot about where you need to invest your time, energy, and money. So if you're still getting clear on your core concept or the audience that you're serving, well, there's going to be certain marketing campaigns and strategies that are going to be premature for you to invest in because you're in the stage where you want to really solidify that foundation, your messaging, your positioning, because any investment into big campaigns before you have that positioning right is not going to pay off to the degree that it could when you take the time to really work on that positioning. So be aware of where you are along the thought leader journey. Whereas when you're in the further stages of a momentum, you can really take advantage of things like PR and large scale national campaigns or a national bestseller launch. Oh goodness, if I had $1 for every aspiring author that was told that they should go for a New York Times bestseller when they didn't have the foundational elements in place, I would be a millionaire. And that breaks my heart because that goal can be a great goal, but at the right time, when your positioning is right, when it's the right audience, when you're you're further along in terms of your stage of thought leadership. So that's the second filter, your stage. The third filter is your gifts, skills, and talents. There's so many ways to get your message out, to connect with your audience, to grow your impact. And we really want to tailor those strategies to fit you, not someone else. And so think about, if you're, asking yourself to write a blog post every day a la Seth Godin style, but you're really fighting with writing or you feel like that's not where your gifts lie, my goodness, give yourself grace and let go of that strategy and focus on, Facebook Lives or videos or maybe a podcast or audio content. I'm a really strong writer, but you'll notice that I have not been publishing a lot of written content for a while because I have some resistance that I'm working through right now, and I'm really flowing more easily with video or audio content. So that's where I'm focusing my efforts. Although that may change as my new book idea in the works is coming to fruition. But that's where I am right now. So I'm paying attention to how the energy is flowing into where not just my gifts lie, but what am I willing to do and what am I excited to do and what will serve my audience. The same thing applies with, we're told that we need to, have that sexy influencer national media attention. But if you are really introverted and don't do so well in front of the camera, then maybe those are not the right strategies for you. So you really want to look at, what's a good fit for your gifts, skills, and talents? What allows you to reach your audience? And what are you able and willing and excited to do? And then the final filter, and there are others, but I'm just going to give you these 4 today. The final filter is your audience. We can have all these grand plans and ideas about what we want to do, but if we're not in sync with our audience, none of it really matters. Sure, it is true that we have a symbiotic relationship as thought leaders with our audience. Our audience is not dictating to us what we should do because so much, if we are called to change the conversation, we have a gift and ability and a vision to direct our audience in a new way. They need what we have to offer. And at the same time, we have to deliver it in a way that resonates with them and is, feels relevant, timely, transformational. And so when you're in sync with your audience, when you're paying attention, when you're listening to the conversation, when you're open to receiving feedback and you have a pulse on the inner thoughts that go through their head at 4 p.m. on Tuesday, then we have a much better chance of tweaking and customizing our strategies and how we write our content or what we say on our website or what are the examples that we use in our keynote speeches. We're in sync with what will best serve them. So there's a lot more I could say about finding that unique pathway for you, because after all, if you have a unique message to share with the world, don't you deserve the unique pathway? Because that's what's going to allow you to realize your potential. So just to recap, here are the four filters that you can use both in those daily decisions as well as thinking about your bigger picture beyond, your upcoming book launch or your next goal. Number 1, business model. Use your business model to help you make decisions about what you should and shouldn't do. Number 2, your stage as a thought leader. Be aware of how far along you are with your message and audience and your platform and your following. Number 3, ask yourself if the strategy or campaign or tactic you have in mind is in line with your gifts, skills, and talents, and certainly what you're willing and excited to do. And then fourth and final is your audience. Be in sync with your audience and let the audience serve as that filter to help you know, I'll use a Kenny Rogers analogy, know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to pivot and make adjustments based on the changes in your industry, the changes with your audience, so that we're not just following the same strategies because they look good on paper, but because our audience is telling us it's working and it's something that they're receiving and something that they appreciate. All right, guys, so that's all I've got for today. Take some time this week to really think about your big picture, not just what's coming in the next 90 days, but how do you want to change the conversation? What does, that gold medal look like for you in terms of impact and income over the lifetime of your career as a messenger and thought leader? All right, have a great rest of the week and start to the fall. Blessings.